Well, hey everybody. Good afternoon. David, Valerie, Ray, Kenneth, Sergio, Bob, Jan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening. How's it going? We've got Amazon earnings coming out today, along with AMD and Starbucks and a variety of other ones. FOMC meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then Apple coming out Thursday, Apple earnings, along with a variety of other ones. And we'll talk about a few of these things, and then we'll do 30 minutes of requests. So wait on the request until I get to the point where I'm ready. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose your request. The chat gets going, and I can't find them. Anyway, we got, like I said, we've got AMD, Amazon, Supermicro, Starbucks, Riot, Pinterest, Caesars, Root, Lemonade, Onuki, well, however you say that, right there. And then in the morning, Pfizer, CVS, Barrick, Gold, MasterCard, Norwegian, Wingstop, Ketchup, Estee Lauder, Marriott, ours. Tomorrow after the close, after the FOMC, Qualcomm, Devon, Paycom, Carvana, Axelis, Fastly, Etsy, and then, of course, the big dog of the week right there, Apple, coming in on Thursday after the close. That chart's been kind of lackluster, in all honesty. So tomorrow, well, I mean, right now we've got Amazon earnings, and we'll go over and hit that in a second. Tomorrow we get the FOMC. I'm expecting higher for longer. At least that's what they were pumping through the Wall Street Journal this morning. Going to keep rates elevated, if not go up, and maybe no cuts this year at all. Is the market going to throw a tantrum, a rate cut tantrum? I don't know. And then Apple, we'll cover the chart here in a minute. But before we get to charts, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. No stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no cryptos, no treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. Substantial risk of loss, right? And don't buy stuff from gurus like me if you don't trust them. Make sure you know what you're getting into and you trust people. Like, you really trust them, not just, not just, oh man, that guy's got some slick talk, Hopefully I actually have some real systems that make people real money. I mean, I know a variety of my VIP group make pretty good dang money. And some people struggle. Some people can't get out of their own way. And I'm trying to help people get on the right track, but with simple systems, a lot of people just overcomplicate this whole thing. If you desire personal financial advice, though, it's not what I do. I don't give you advice based on your personal situation. You got to hire and consult a financial advisor. Make sure you trust them too, because most people out there are just trying to make some of your money into some of their money. And I mean, that's kind of the whole game, right? Like, that's the way the whole world works. If the world didn't have any problems, none of us would have a job, as my dad says. Anyway, so jumping over. Looking at Amazon, we've got a little bit of pop, giving it back a little bit right there. And if we go to extended trading hours, we can see it's been a little bit volatile here. A little bit of popping, a little bit of dropping, a lot of bit of dropping, actually. Went all the way down to 165, all the way up to 186. Supermicro, SMCI. Whew, that was popping, and now it's dropping, and now kind of hovering in between. Might be going on down in a blaze of glory. Look at that. It's just where it was like 3 days ago. So crazy. That pop was higher than it's been for a week or so. That drop so far, just down to where it was a few days back. Still in the range. You're in the range of everywhere we've been in the last 2 weeks. So crazy. So crazy. And Supermicro, beating on the top, missing on the bottom, missing on revenue. Amazon got a beat on the top and a beat on the bottom. And then we've got AMD with a basically inline on the top and a slight miss on the bottom. Basically inline top and bottom for AMD. And that was not what the market wanted out of AMD. It looks like taking back 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5 days now. All right. And then Starbucks. This one got slammed. Ouch. Right down to the 786 down there. Ooh, man. Ouch. 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 Not too good for long Starbucks at the moment. Of course, that can all change by the open, but at the moment, not too good. Right there. Big fat slam in the face. And let's see, Riot. Not really moving. That one says earnings tomorrow. I don't know. That says earnings tomorrow, even though my chart says earnings today. Pins. Nice pop on Pinterest. Nice pop indeed. What is that? 20% up after market? Yeah, nice. And let's see. Let's hit the other couple here. CZR. That one got slammed a little bit. Root. Nice pop on inch. Wow, look at that. 35%. Woo, baby. That's a nice move. Lemonade. LMND. Another nice popper. So, obviously, it's a haves and have-nots kind of market here. OKE. And, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the earnings for you this evening. In the morning, we have Pfizer, CVS, Barrick, MasterCard, Norwegian, Wingstop, Ketchup, Kraft Heinz, and Estee Lauder, Marriott, International coming in hot in the morning before the open. So, alrighty. Dun, 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 dun. And unfortunately, old JT's got jury duty in the morning, so I may or may not be here for the FOMC meeting. That spectacular, as they say. So we have the FOMC meeting coming in hot tomorrow at 2 p.m. All right, yeah. 2 p.m. Federal funds rate, FOMC statement. We do have the JOLTS jobs openings and the ISM manufacturing. Also in the morning, the services, was it the services numbers? I don't remember what it was. We had some weak numbers coming out this morning, and consumer confidence, and caused a little pullback in the market today, which is interesting. In front, usually the day before the FOMC meeting is really dull. Like, we don't move much at all. That's the typical price action for the day before FOMC. And today we got a little acceleration down here. Like, this was a little bit of pullback here. And so far, that looks like we got 3 moves up, pullback right into the 618 zone. Yeah, 50, 618, right in this little pocket here. And, well, that can result in a pop right up to the 618 up there. And let's pull that down. Should be right in here. We can get a pop up into this area tomorrow, pop potentially on the 2 p.m. If that's the reaction we get, that'd be interesting. That will be interesting for sure. That's almost a curious pattern. I was talking to Rongamer last night at the scout meeting. I was like, we watched the futures open. I was like, man, they're gonna pull it back instead of ending up here where it would be clear that there's a danger zone. If you pull it back, now if tomorrow we jam it on up here before FOMC, we're probably going down. But if we're hanging out down here in the FOMC meeting, if we just lackluster mess around tomorrow morning, even on those other numbers that come out, we've got the Wednesday, we've got the final manufacturing PMI, the ISM manufacturing, the JOLTS jobs, the non-farm employment change. All that stuff comes out early tomorrow. If that doesn't really move the market. If we just kind of fart around down here where we are, that could result in a pop. And this is still the resistance, but that could be, gosh, man, I don't like the way that overlapped, but we might pop up here and then roll. It's definitely muddied the water. It was kind of clear if we were just going to rally right up here and stop in the face of the FOMC. Now this is kind of muddied it up here. Was this the beginning? We get a little pop and then drop down in. I don't know. Like this, it looked like it was going to be a clear path coming into the FOMC, and now it's not clear whatsoever. Not whatsoever. And there, I'll flip it back to the other side. So there you go. Flip me back to the other side. Get rid of the marks on the screen. There you go. And unclear. That's the best I could describe it. Unclear. Now, yes, right when everything started reporting earnings, we got a flash. Let's see. Can I even find it in the time here? Yeah, right in here. Right when the market closed. See, that candle at 15:59 was the market closing right there. We got a little pop, and then we got some crazy volatility that took us. Look at that 1 minute candle. It was all the way up here, 50.76, all the way down here, 50.40, 50.54. 20 point candle. 2 minutes after the market closed, it was just crazy volatility. And then we've drifted back down a little bit and just kind of taking a resty down here at the lows. So earnings, spicy right there. Anyway, I was looking for a move down into the 50.48 today to hold support if we're going to rally off of this and go back higher. So this could take us up tomorrow. Definitely could. Now, if we don't hold that 50.48, 50, well, at this point, it's probably 50.40, 50.20 area. If we get below that overnight, then we might be drifting on down back to the lows even before FOMC. We could be taking a trip back down here. If we get below that 50.20 area, go retest these lows. And while we're at it, we might as well take a trip down right here to the daily roadmap line right there. Maybe like, I can't even tell. Yeah, it's right there. There you go. Right there. So we get below that 2040, 50-20, 50-40 level right in there. That's where we bottomed out just 3 days ago, back on Thursday. We get below that. Watch out for a flush right there. In Q, definitely got a nice big fat retrace today. Yep, right down. Like this is, it's interesting because this price action was kind of corrective up, and we got a retrace down to the 618. So this, it's potential that this is an A, B, C situation where this was an A, this is a B, and then we'll get the C pop up into this zone tomorrow on the FOMC, like a really fast mover pop up into this zone, find resistance, and then turn down again and get the continuation of this whole first move down. We get another example of that right off of that point right there. And then we'd actually tag the roadmap, and it could take us out into June. Like that could be the rest of May right there. Like we get this little pop, and then we flush it the rest of May. It would kind of suck, right? Definitely would suck, I think. I'm not really feeling like we should do a whole nother month of consolidation, but that's what we may need after this record-setting bullish run off of these lows in October. This was a heck of a move. It was in the top 10 most bullish moves since 1950. Top 10. I think it comes in at number 10, but it was in the top 10. Now, this also exists in here where we dip down, don't hold the roadmap line, and could go even lower, and that could result in a return to the lows all the way back to the October 22 lows. So we don't really want to break the roadmap line in any meaningful way right now, especially if we break down below it, back test it from the bottom. that could lead to something definitely more sinister lasting the rest of the year, possibly into next year even. Just throwing that out there. Like, this is a critical correction right here. It's going to set the direction for a while. So we want to hold this support and turn back higher. That's what I want to see. But the Russell kind of telling a different story that we don't hold the roadmap line here, we may be in for some hurting. Oil, this was so crazy. Look at that. It ended up closing back in the channel. Closed in the channel. It tried. It tried to push down. Closed in the channel. We'll have to see where this opens tomorrow. But we may, if it gets out of the channel overnight, could see it tag that roadmap line and wrap up this correction. I was hoping it would actually push down in there today. Get down in that 75, 79.50, 80 area. Really dang close. But nope. No joy by the close today. Brent still looking kind of the same and probably going to push into the roadmap line before we find support. Gasoline actually holding up really well. Does have this little head and shoulders type pattern though. If we break down, we could see a flush. Could go back down to about 239. Supposedly they're doing some strategic petroleum reserve dumps. I don't know. It's all hearsay till the numbers come out. Heating oil, diesel fuel, sitting at the lows. May push lower. Good for diesel drivers. And Kimberly's here. Dun, 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 my favorite subscriber. Natural gas pushing up higher to the roadmap line. Is it going to do it? Are we going to do it early? Are we going to test it here? That's resistance above us, support down below us on natural gas. Gold got the bigger pullback like I was looking for. And we may push on down. GLD, I was looking for a move down into the 210 area. We're dollar off. I mean, basically, we're in the 211.55 in the post markets. May push on down to that 210, possibly 208. That's kind of my support zone right now that I was looking for a move down to this 210, 208 area to be a long-term buyer. I want it to hold there and turn higher, not just, knife on through and we get more of these red candles like this on down. Like, I don't really want to see that. What I want to see is it hold that zone right in here and turn higher. Long-term buyer for the next run. And next run can take us pretty epically higher. Pretty much, yeah. Afternoon. And silver here looks like we're going to push on down, maybe the 26 area. But if we don't hold that 1272, we could push on down even lower, back to where we consolidated here briefly in March, possibly back to the roadmap line. That may come up at the same time there. If you're interested in the roadmap line and this thing I keep showing off, link is in the description down below. Very simple, 144, 169 EMAs. And I actually have a video in the catalog back, I guess it was a live stream I did maybe 2 Decembers back, or 2 New Year's backs. Somewhere in there. It's one of the most popular videos if you sort by popularity. Like me going, my favorite indicator or something like that. Copper. Trying to break out. We actually did the corrective move though and stopped right there. This is very cautious to me. This 3-wavy move up, 3-wavy move down, 3-wavy move up, and we're stopping right at the 100% where this move up off the lows back here in 22 is the same size as this move right here. Now, what can that result in? An extension lower below this low right down here. So definitely watch out for copper to roll. If copper starts rolling, it's like red flags all over the place that we may see prices move lower. Now, I usually hit Bitcoin. And it's going for, sure looks like it's going for the roadmap line. Maybe not, but it sure looks like it is. Move that on over. Sure looks like it wouldn't even take much to get there. 56, you know what, another $4,000 on Bitcoin. It really pushed down kind of toward the close when everything else was flushing. And then it's getting a little reprieve here. The Hong Kong Stock Exchange started trading and lackluster, only about $8 million and $8 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin bought up today. Net, I mean, they traded pretty good volume, but at the end of the day, there were only about $8 million worth of buyers. Obviously, that buying hadn't kicked in, but that's similar to what we saw on the US Bitcoin spots getting approved back here in January. I don't have the vertical bar on here. We saw that excitement coming into it, then we got a flush out, kind of like a big red candle first day in there, second day in, and then kind of lackluster price action. Then we found a bottom and took off right near the roadmap line there. I bet I had the wrong chart up. Yeah, I did. So there we go. That was the halving event what, 2 Fridays back. Just sitting here, not gone anywhere really. I mean, if you look at it, we were right here just right before halving, and now we're right here today. So even though it seems like everything's bummed out and lackluster and I mean, we actually made a lower low. That could be it. That could wrap it up. We could see a spike, but you know, there's no guarantees until it starts doing it. Like till the like I was talking about a knife catch a second ago. This can just keep going on down if it doesn't hold support here or down here. So be careful out there. It doesn't have to turn until it turns. You know, usually the first 2 to 3 weeks after halving is kind of bearish before it finds a bottom and finds a footing. And Ethereum has come back and tagged the roadmap line for the 3rd time. 1, 2, 3. There we go. If we get below this, if it seems to be, there's a lot of rhetoric about the SEC possibly going to classify this as a security. If they do, there could be a knee-jerk reaction, and we could see a deeper flush on Ethereum. Could that take Bitcoin down with it? Maybe, possibly could. And so those are just things to be cognizant and aware of out there in the crypto markets. All right, so the rules on requests are that each person gets 1 ticker. Please write in capital letters so I know it's a ticker. If you're going to request some sort of crypto, please write USD in it, because that's the charts I can pull up easily, like ETH USD right there, like I have on the screen right there. See it? Please write it that way. And so nothing's really off limits, but I got to be able to pull it up on TradingView. If you're gonna ask me for a future or something like that, please type the like ES1 exclamation point so I can pull up the constant contract, and kind of that's how we're gonna roll. So remember, 1 request per person at a time. If you give me a whole list, I'm gonna skip you. If let somebody else let 1 to 2 people go before you hit me again. If you just hit me with a whole bunch of tickers, I'm gonna start skipping you. And if you ask me a question in between here, please give me the whole question. Don't be like, don't just reference something and give me the whole reference. All right, like on that McDonald's chart, you said blah blah blah. What do you mean by blah blah blah? And don't just be like, you didn't answer my question. So please use complete sentences and reference the full whatever the question is, because I got a lot going on. All right, thank you everybody, and I'll get going and keep going probably for at least 30 minutes, if not longer here. All right. AEM is the first one I see, and yeah, topped out. Topped out. Let's see, right at the 1272 of that whole big correction. Move up. Let's see, nested move, and that happened to be up through the extension. Have to be honest, you've got another extension up here at 72, but the roadmap line is entirely possible. So you've got that zone for resistance, and you get that zone for support right now. And we're sitting kind of in the coin flip middle. Like it can come all the way back down and it can pop out. And remember, gold and silver miners are not gold and silver. So despite them doing that sort of stuff, that's not, I mean, you got to be careful. They don't always trade the same. SMCI kind of already hit this. The earnings are coming down, baby. We didn't make it up to the 618. What do? Are we just gonna flush it on down? Support down here, resistance up here. That's nothing changed. Even with the earnings, nothing changed. We're just hanging in the middle, right there. And AVX, USD, Avalanche. Oh, breaking down below the roadmap line. That's not good. Back tested from below. Unfortunately, that sets the stage for. Oh, wrong tool. That was a 3-wave up too. 1, 2, 3. Sets the stage for a deeper move, possibly here, possibly here. Looking like Avalanche is gonna take a cruise on down before it finishes up that. I thought that might have been the case when we did. I'd like to see it hold. It held the 618 so far. I'd like to see it kind of hold that area to a final little tag lower and then get a reversal and get back higher than here. And we got a long way up to go for the breakout line up here. So a lot of resistance way the heck up there. Right now, that's a smaller time frame. Bias down for. It's kind of like Bitcoin, bias down. Ethereum, bias down. Avalanche, bias down. It's kind of crypto, kind of bias down at this point. MCD is working on its reversal here. Still below the roadmap line. That's still bearish bias, but we hit the 618 here. Held pretty steady, even on earnings. I mean, you could say they missed, but that's basically in line in my book and in line. So they pretty much came in line, no surprises, and just kind of sitting there. The potential for this thing, move up, and that was a lower low, so we kind of reset the move up to that low. The upside, even if it's corrective, would be 320, possibly 336, and if it's going to be bullish, 355, and then probably higher from there. So now the flip side, if we start breaking down below these couple lows here we've already set, if we start getting any kind of daily closes down in that area, probably tipping the odds to move it on down here to around 230 for McDonald's. So there you go. And Lennar. That's the path. That's probably going to hit the roadmap line in full. Came up a little shy so far. Got a little further to go. And if we do break back above the 618, and 179 would be the upside right there. So there's your support. There's your resistance or target right there. We're just kind of hovering right now at this prior consolidation. I expect one little flush down to the bottom of that, and then we can get it going. And SIGA. Yeah. Under $10, can't really stuff under $10 doesn't always follow patterns, so anything I say may or may not apply. Kind of the bummer of it, but just being honest, that's the way these things work. Move up 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, possibly a 5-wave right there. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and move here. I would expect a retrace to the roadmap line at this point. Right there would be the next move. That's what I would expect. And Inium hit the 1618 right there. Off that roadmap bounce, 1618 back to the roadmap line. Be the expectation right now. We could possibly hold where we held these prior highs and turn, but it's not unlikely that we wouldn't come all the way back to the roadmap line there. on the daily. IoT. That's just choppy. Tag that. Back to the roadmap line. Man, that's choppy. Rejecting off of the 618 level. Got to get a daily close above that to go higher. And if we don't, what's the downside? Downside potential right down here. Like that. Especially if we get below the roadmap line. We may go back and retest. We may just go back and retest the roadmap line. That the classic move. So we just come back in here, you know, reject, retest, reject, retest before we can get the energy and the strength built up to break on higher. But so that's your resistance, that's a support, and then that's the downside target. Simple as that right there. All right, and this chat decided to go all crazy scrolly on me. CLSK. Oh, that didn't work. CLSK is probably coming back to the roadmap line. There. Be my expectation. FCX is probably rejected off that. That's one, two, 3 times on the prior high. You see what happened last time. Look how fast that went. We can reject it really quickly. Look at that. 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days. 3 days is all that took to go down from here to here. A week's time, we went down 21%. Pull that on over. Pull that on over. That could take us right down through the roadmap line in 3 days' time. Could be back at 40 in a flash. Be careful. That's what I would say. Be careful. That was just May 22 right there. April, May. If you don't think we can do it again, be careful. Be careful. It's your money. UCO. Same situation. We came up just shy of the conservative target. This is a leveraged. This is an ultra. This is leveraged stuff. Leveraged stuff doesn't always follow pattern. I drew all these levels back in what, November? Somebody can correct me. Yeah, I think it was November back here. Just kind of sitting, waiting. It's all to get going. We could be super bullish, but so far, just coming up shy of the conservative target. Regular target, we up here at 39. Just waiting. May revisit the roadmap line. Move up, retrace, move up. Hit the target. There you go. That's UCO. Tomorrow, and just right back down, doing another retrace. No update. Today was just a big flush out, boring kind of day. Scared a lot of people apparently, but just back to the 618. Just another nested potential bounce here. If we can hold right in the zone and turn and burn. And just not a whole lot. FedEx is leveraged Bitcoin. Not a lot to talk about. Probably going to tag the roadmap line. Like I said this morning, BTBT. Not a lot to talk about there either. If y'all want to update on all these crypto charts, I go in depth on crypto power plays. So you should consider subscribing to that. And Riot is another one that's just doing a retrace. Bounced off the roadmap line. Possibly could go lower. Be careful. That could go down to 6. And Meta is hanging out at the roadmap line right there. If we get a bounce, fill the gap. Potential to go up. 563. Otherwise, potential to break down. Now, the other chart this week, Apple. Dun, 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 dun. Still under the roadmap line. Lower highs. whole set of lower highs. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And this was the target support zone. We're just kind of scraped the top of it here. Bounced up. May end up down in there. And could potentially find a bottom around that 150, 160 area. Right there. For Apple. Dun, 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 dun. PNC. Bounce off the roadmap line. But we kind of came up and hit the 618, looks like. 76. Turn it down. Probably going to return to the roadmap line at the minimum. If we get below that prior low, probably could come down to something deeper here. So we got cooking. It's not the most strong looking chart at the moment. DT has broken down below the roadmap line. Didn't even make it up on the retrace. 2 lower highs in a row. That's support. That's resistance. That's what we got on DT at the moment. INTC is probably going on down. Man, look at that. All the way back to the prior. Golly. Amazes me sometimes. All this resistance. We tried to break through, got rejected, came back down. Now we've got to hold that zone right there. Right back down where we consolidated at the lows. If it can't hold that, it's probably going lower. That lower target would be down here. On Intel. Yep, that's what we got. Alrighty. Carefully. Tesla is just below the resistance above us. The post. God, we tagged that roadmap line so perfectly. I just need to clean some of these fibs off here because we tagged it so perfectly. And clear a few things off. It stays. That box. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Can't grab it. There we go. Grab that one. Come on, grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it. There we go. And so what we've done now, that low, that high. Here is the support zone right down here. Right, it just happens to be the gap fill. Filling the gap right back down. If we can do that, potential to bust on through. That is the key resistance level right now. That point from where we gap down. We tested that one. That's the double one. Now double strong right there above us. And that's support. So we get below supports, could look down 122. If we get above the resistance, we can look for higher targets, 350 possibly. We have the downtrend of the highs coming in over here. Downtrend. That high, that high, that high, that high, that high. And we'll have to test it at some point over here if we're going higher. So we got the roadmap line, that gap fill, that downtrend of the highs to get through before we go higher. And we bounced off the roadmap line. It was almost perfect. Tagged it right in there. Now if we could just poke on up through, retest it from the top, that would be the most ideal thing for going bullish. I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. See what happens. Not concerned yet. If we get a bigger flush in the market, maybe time to be concerned on being long anything short term. And MU probably going to come back down to the roadmap line sometime or another. CDLX. Probably going to come back down to the roadmap line. Didn't quite hit yet. Probably going to go a little lower. Alrighty. Lily. Nice strong move this morning. Ended up kind of being a lackluster close. I don't know. It's back in the channel. It can just kind of hover in the channel. We've had a little bit of trouble holding on to the channel, I guess you might say. And trading view, when it scales, kind of scales the channel funky. Those lows, you know, we retested the bottom of it. There, we tried to get out below it and came back in, tested it, ramp up near the top. Came back in, we can see a lackluster price action, just like we did right over here. Here, came up, came back, pushed below it, then came up, and then ran away from it. So we may see that again. We may see that exact same kind of pattern where we touched it, kind of lackluster, not overly excited about that potential right now on Lily. Definitely time to be cautious. I would not be overly expecting great upside at the moment, despite you know, killing it on the top, but kind of missing on the bottom here. So SVXY. This is a inverse instrument, inverse fix. Looks like it's on the path to go on up here to 58 at this point. Now I could do a double dip. We've seen that plenty of times. Came down, we rallied up a little bit and dipped further. That may be what we got in store. Last time we did that was in October. That one, dip, pop up near the top and dip harder. And we see this common where we get a dip, a rally, and a dip further. And it's all skewed now because of the reverse split. Or I mean the split, not the reverse split, or the split. So it consolidated all these numbers instead of them being as spread out as they once were. So we had a split here just what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago almost. At this point, it's kind of consolidated all the numbers. So these used to be nice and big and fat and expanded 2 for 1. So we can go SVXY times 2. Had it not split, this is what we had before. We may double dip. May get a double dip. Could go fast too. FOMC day is definitely the day we could see some crazy price action on SVXY. I would be very careful on that one. I did that ×2 thing to get rid of the split. So that did not dip to 15 to 20%, only did a 10%. We could see it push on down. 15% would be on down here, around 48. Every time since COVID, we've done it like 15 times in a row. Every time since COVID, we've done like a 15 to 20% dip. We rally right back in the next 45-ish days, right back up near the high, if not make a higher high. Some of these ones over here, we were just kind of most of the way there before we dipped again. Like these sat right here in 2022, didn't necessarily make new highs each time. They just came up near the high, near the high, near the high. That one came up shy, and this one was the one where that actually came back to the high, dipped again, and then took off, dip, took off, dip, took off. So like 15 times we've done that since COVID, and this one was only a 10% dip. But it may go back to the high. But it may dip further, so it's not clear. And it's since it's a derivative instrument, I don't have a lot to say about it. UVXY is just a decaying asset, and there's nothing to look at here. If you want to know the base story, VIX is the base story. We spiked up here, and we've rallied down. Despite the drop today, not much fear in that move. And this thing may return to the resting spot here. Historically, when we get a spike in volatility, we tend to just blow it back on down. Like, the event's over, game over, return back to normal. You see it, I mean, even over here, spike and drift off down, back to resting zone. So prior to sell the vol events of the 2010, late 2010s, 20 was kind of the resting spot in VIX. And then we had the sell the vol, or Volmageddon, as they called it, events in here. And then we had COVID, which was the biggest spike ever, I think it was. And then now we're back to the resting rate after COVID's kind of 13-ish. So we get in this 12, 13 area. That's kind of the resting rate, and spikes to 20. Not uncommon when we get some freak out in the market. That's exactly what we had. And we're back down here, and we may see a return to 13. Like, that's the story of VIX seems to indicate we may see a pushback down to that low, that resting spot, which would push SVXY higher. And I just touched the chat and it flipped everything off. Let's see. KTOS is just sitting there. No nothing. Ugh. Just a sideways choppy hot mess of nothing. There's your resistance, there's your supports, and there we are sitting on the roadmap line. And EC is also doing almost the same chart, just nothing. Big bag of nothing. There's your resistance, there's your supports, and we're sitting in the middle on the roadmap line. And Riley popped up to the 618 and hit the wall. That was the 618 of this move back here. Let's see. Let's just clean her up. I sit on 200 shares of this. Just throwing that out there. I think 200, maybe 300. I'm just sit on shares. They pay a pretty smoking dividend. Kind of varies, but was $1 back here. Now it was 50 cents here. Pretty dang good dividend. 9% right now. This thing, if we can bust through the 618 level, we could tip the odds we're going higher here. This was a higher low than back here, so this could be slanted bullish. And then 618 level up here, we kind of rejected on that one. That wasn't, notice this is off this low here. That's the 618, and we rejected there, so that's probably a strong resistance going higher. So this would be a resistance area right up here. Well, that was cool. I don't know what I just clicked on. Totally cool. So that's a big resistance and the smaller resistance off of the smaller swing down right there. If we can get through that, looks like we might have the odds we're going to go test this and possibly break out to that 74 area before we would retrace, find support on the roadmap line again, and then go for set an all-time high. This company is interesting. It buys out distressed assets, bankruptcies. Like I think they were the one that bought out most of the assets of Bed Bath & Beyond, Blood Bath & Beyond, as they liquidated. So it's a kind of a interesting, volatile business. As you can see, it got some ups and some downs. Insiders buy this thing like crazy. I would be cautious. I just hold it for the high dividend because you can sell some upside calls when we're smoking hot and get huge upside money, and then but you got to be able to ride it down and back up again. Anyway, to each their own. You gotta play your money the way you play it. VITU is a leveraged Bitcoin. There's not much I'm gonna say on that. Not enough candles to do anything. And DLTR looks like we're getting below the support. Could result in a move back down here to a lower low at 89. Upside resistance potential up here, or target, I guess, if like it didn't hold. It's got to hold right in there. Not holding so far. It's not looking too great. Have to say, not holding support is usually not a great sign. So, if I was flipping a coin and betting, I'd probably bet on the downside right now. But everything can turn and burn. So, and prove me wrong at any point. That's just there's no high probability setup at the moment for Dollar Tree. Dash looks like it's going to come back down to the roadmap line. Uber, almost there. If we do, resistance is at that 76 area, and the target's up here where the target's kind of been up here around 88. So support here, resistance here, target up there, and we break below that, then target will be down here at 48. Uber, Levi's, yeah. Potential to rally up here. We just do the echo of the last pullback. Potential, but we do have resistance at 23, 24, and then target up at 26. So not a huge mover. Riot already did. XLY. And rejected. Got the close up there, but then rejected. Today, I don't know. That one can go lower. Potential entry yesterday, and the stop is down here. $1 below the low. 189 would be the target if we're going on up. 180, 188, 189, right in there. And arm. Nothing different. Probably still coming down. There's the target. We held resistance up here and came up just shy of the target. Little bounce. Still expect a flush down in here. And it could go lower. Still do expect a lower low at some point in time out here in the future. The near term, I just expect a visit of here, and then we'll see what happens. See what develops off of that. And people keep asking for Riot, but I've already done it, and I'm not really talking about it much more during this IRDM coming up. This is not the place for in-depth analysis. I do a quick high-level analysis on every ticker on your request, and then we move on. RDM is below the roadmap line. That's resistance above. I don't even see support at this point. Prior low extensions, maybe 21, 17. Could be something less, 21, 19. If we can pop it on up, it gets a little deeper. There you go. Looks pretty bad. Idiom, already did that one. The XYZ has been just crazy volatile and not enough candles to do anything, but almost back down to the bottom here. Probably going to go lower eventually. It's kind of exactly what I said was going to happen. Was it was going to come right back down from where it came from. UPS sitting in this triangle. Watermelon seed squeeze. That's what I expect. Move the oval. Sitting in that watermelon seed squeeze. That's the resistance breaking out. These lows, support, and probably just gonna hang. Maybe well out into the fall, possibly. You can just mess around on out through here. That's UPS for you, unfortunately. Not a lot cooking. And where did there it is, Google. Alphabet kind of played out. May retrace all the way back down to the roadmap line. It played out the target big time. I would expect a revisit out here. Jeffry, FISA. Remember to give me a thumbs up if, whether you like my analysis I do on your ticker or not. Give me a thumbs up if you found it beneficial, helpful, informative. Maybe I did or didn't say anything you liked. Jeffy, there's the resistance, there's the supports, and we're closer to support than we are resistance. And if we break below, we could go on down to 20. Not awesome on PFE. And probably coming back to the roadmap line. And then if we get below the roadmap line, could come on down. It actually went up further. Update these just a little bit. Still the same target, just stretched up just a wee little bit. Yeah, probably gonna come back at some point here. Probably coming back down. And that's race for you. Probably should save some of the stuff that I've updated. All right. Apple already did. Docu. If you missed anything, if I said, hey, I already did that, just use the little slider down here. You can go back in time and find it. You can pull it back and watch it in 2x or 3x or whatever. Docu broke out and like it did that little flaggy crap. Didn't really go anywhere. That's why I say these are unreliable. I don't really like them. We had one of these little flags on Bitcoin potentially, and they're not my favorite. Like some people are like, that's a super bullish pattern. But again, like maybe it's not. Like you could say, well, there's the flag. And here's the consolidation over here. And I don't know. Maybe. And then is it going to be bullish over here? Like who's to say? Maybe we get bullish over here. Possibly. That would put it right up to the target. But how long are you going to wait for it? I don't know. I was in this on a bounce, a roadmap line bounce. We came up here and just messed around on the 618 and I liquidated. And I haven't really been back into it. So started just, that price action just started looking choppy and non-committal. And that's kind of what we've had. Continuation of non-committalness. Returned almost to the roadmap line. We may get one more little bounce down here. This could pull it on down. And then we go shooting off and get near the target there at 69. But it just doesn't look awesome to me at the moment. That wouldn't be my primary expectation right now, that we're going to go shooting off. Now, a break above. If we get above these highs that we made, like that high and that high, these two highs right here, arrow, arrow, go, go. That high and this high right there. We get above those, it'd be game on. Or get up here. But at this point, probably coming back down here first on Docu. That's the long and the short of it. SLG. Support down there. And big picture. This one's got a nice potential upside to it. Nice wind up. Could take us way up here. Looks like it wants to go back to the roadmap line first before we embark on that journey. Bigger picture. Oh, I put SLG. Yeah, that was it. SLG up there. So SLB. SLB. Looks like we're coming back down to the lows. Rejected off the 618 area. Probably come on down. And path. UI path is back to the consolidation. Watch for a return to the bottom. Rejected up there. Could we hold this and go for another attempt higher? Yeah, possibly. Resistance is that gap down all the way up here at 30. We're just sitting at 18 and there's no high probability anything cooking right now. Doesn't strike me as like exciting. This kind of overlappy, choppy, where the lows are overlapping the prior highs. That's just not bullish price action. Go somewhere else would be my recommendation to make some money. WM, waste management. This guy's like print money. We're always gonna have garbage to get rid of. Look at them, just it's just going to get more and more expensive to throw away stuff as we have less and less landfills around to throw it into. And that's right up to resistance. There's the markets back open. Yeah, we're just at targets and probably going to retrace back down to the roadmap line at some point. Is it sooner or is it later? I don't know. Somewhere out here, we'll probably do it. And SMG is just a choppy pile of junk here. Retrace to the roadmap line. You can see right there, we did a roadmap bounce right there, right up to the 1618, pushed even a little higher. Now coming back down. If we can hold above that prior, or hold in that breakout, it is a potential echo. What does that mean? It means this pullback here, roughly the same size as that current pullback. I didn't draw it very well. Get it back on the actual lows. Right there, right there. You can see pretty dang close. So the result can be the same kind of move out of it. Should take us on up there. I feel better if we go on down and touch that, but if we start turning and burning, get back above 73, we could be heading on up to this 88 area. It's pretty darn good just for shares. So there you go. And the even busters play right back down to the roadmap line. The conservative entry up here above 63, looking for 75, but if we don't, we could come back down in the consolidation where we hung out for 3 years. Sideways choppy garbage for 3 years. It's a $20 range for 3 years. It's not my kind of thing. I like things that... This is the kind of thing I got into. CGC. Look at this. Today, I'll show you this. Let's turn off the... Let's just go to regular trading hours right here. This thing fired off a roadmap bounce on my new scanner thing that I got running on the 30-minute time frame. Fired it off right there. Right there. JT got in. Now, the target got out right there. But JT zoomed out just a little bit and said, hey, look at this. That high, that low. I think we could go for 13. I actually had it on a log scale. I think we could go for 13. So guess what we got? 13. And it could have gotten higher, but I went for 13. That was the conservative exit on the bigger picture. This thing works. All right, you may be like, well, how often does it work on the... Oh yeah, 73% likely it was to work on this 30-minute time frame. Yeah, it was likely to last... The average trade lasts 28 bars, so 28, 30 minutes, you know, that's like, what, 14 hours? So 6.5 hours in a day. So you're looking at like 3 trading days on average that would last. That lasted just a few hours. You know, in at 1-ish, out at, what, 2:30-ish, so an hour and a half or so. Not too bad for a 30% gain right there. I was in just under $10 and out at 13 on the money. Pretty sweet. Anyway, that's the kind of power of this pattern right here, and why I have this. I have these statistics hanging out here. So that's why I'm always looking for that same pattern, that same bounce. Super powerful. And that was nested right there, like the nested bounce. You could say, well, it was all just the news. You just got lucky. Well, was the news what made it do that, set that whole thing up all the way back here? I don't know. And we stopped right just above the target. So you tell me. I don't know. I think it's the charts. You can argue all you want. You're not going to convince me it's not the charts. Ever since I learned the charts, I get lucky a lot. MSFT. Going down in a blaze of glory. Right back down to the roadmap line. We missed it just a little bit. And that was not as close as Tesla got. So it looks like we may go for it one more time here. From the top. And MDB. Bounced off the bottom. Could return to the bottom. The low. Popped up. Down. Potential to go lower. And STAG. That's just choppy sideways garbage. Don't trade this stuff. Like, I'm serious. Like, what about that chart says, hey, there's some banging opportunity right here. There's some banging opportunity probably to go back to 31. How that just doesn't look good to me. I mean, I don't. There's plenty of other things to get involved in, and this isn't one of them. Looks like we could go back down, touch the low. If we break below, it could make a return to the low. Just, that's not the kind of awesome stuff right there I want to get involved in. And yeah, 1% dividends don't like. That's not my kind of bag. I like 10% dividends. Yeah, SMCI dropping but we're not below the low from a few days back, so still got to get below that. MNST, Monster Energy Drinks, just chopping sideways. Rejected, breaking out. Failure. What a failure. That looks like 3-wave-ish type price action if we have support right here, and if we get below that, probably come back down here to 44. I don't buy enough monsters to support the company, so I would love them to support me. That'd be awesome. Awesome. All right. Uniswap. UniUSD. Rejecting. May go lower. That doesn't like it. While it had a potential bullish chart, this is starting to look like 5 down, which could get a 3. If it gets a lower low here, this is not good at all. We need to hold a higher low now. Do not get below this. If we get below this, it's probably game over on this Uniswap. Yeah, I don't want to see a lower low than that right there. If we do that, it's not going to be good long term on Uniswap. Celsius. Return to the roadmap line. Looks like right there's supports. And let's see. That is a $16 billion company compared to $55 billion. And Monster's a little bit bigger than Celsius. Just a little bit. A little bit bigger than double on a market cap basis. And it's fighting it out. Compare that to like KO. 266 billion. Monster and Celsius got a ways to go to compete with the Pepsis and the Coca-Colas of the world. 241 billion. So the two big dogs, 250 billion-ish. While the smaller, this has had one of the most rocking bullish moves in my lifetime. I have not ridden any of it. 55 billion. So it'd have to get like 5 times bigger just to be the size of Coke or Pepsi. And then this one has to get like 15 times bigger, roughly. So lots of room to grow. So it's a juicy market. Anyway, MSCI. I'd wear the hat every time, man. I'd wear a Monster hat every day. I'd wear it every day if they started sponsoring my morning Monster. I mean, we'd have to be talking serious sponsorship, not like, I'll give you a free Monster. MSCI looks like it's set to go lower, down at support. If we get below that, that's the place we're going. Potential to bounce off of here, though. Potential. It doesn't look very good at the moment. Oh, wrong flip tool. Potential, but I don't know. Upside 720, 820, but not looking very good at the moment. It's got a lot of work to do to go higher. And already did Mara. And all right, that's the list, everybody. Thanks for coming. Looks like viewers have dropped below 80, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you not tomorrow morning because got jury duty. I may do an afternoon show. Stay tuned. I'll post it in Discord if I am. And make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell with the notifications if you want to get notified when I go live. I'll try to do a live stream tomorrow, just because I need to keep up appearances around here on YouTube. But thanks for coming. Thanks for spending your evening with me. Sorry I won't be live for the Morning Monster. Criminal court jury duty says I have to report no matter what. So that's what I'm going to do. No excuses. No regrets. No excuses. So I'll see y'all when I possibly can, if I possibly can tomorrow. Otherwise, stay safe out there. 2 p.m. Set your alarm on your phone. 2 p.m. I'll be on. I'll try to be on Discord as much as I can, unless they make me put my electronic devices in a lockbox so I can go be in the courtroom or whatever. I'll be back with you as soon as I can. Won't know if I'll do the show Thursday until late tomorrow. It's just so awesome. I love the at 4:00 p.m. we'll let you know if you got to do it the next day. I'm like, that is horrible for trying to plan anything. So anyway, I'll just bear with me. We'll get through this. I got this week and next week, and then we'll be back to normal. So stay safe out there, everybody. The account you say may be your own. Bye for now. Have a